Hello, and welcome to Science for Sleeping. Tonight, as you settle into stillness, we will drift into one of the most delicate and mysterious territories of the human mind, the quiet landscapes of dreams. These landscapes are shaped not by mountains or rivers, but by memory, emotion, and the hidden rhythms of the brain. They rise and fall like tides behind your eyelids. They glow, dissolve, and reform in ways that defy the ordinary rules of the waking world. And tonight, we will explore them gently, one discovery melting into another, until sleep begins to pull you inward and everything around you softens. Dreams have followed humanity since its earliest breath. Long before there were cities, calendars, or machines, there were dreams. Drifting images under the moonlight, woven into the night as naturally as the stars. People looked to them for guidance, warnings, hope, and comfort. And even now, after centuries of research, after machines that measure brain waves and theories that shape our understanding, dreams remain both familiar and deeply strange. They are something we all experience, yet never fully hold. They vanish the moment the light touches them. So, let's wander into this world with soft steps. Let's let its edges blur. Gently, without urgency, without expectation. As you rest, you might begin to feel the mind slowing, like a tide retreating from the shore. Thoughts stretch out, become softer, less sharp. This fading of wakefulness is itself a part of dreaming, the first quiet door. Even before we fully sleep, the brain rehearses patterns of imagery, memory, and emotion. Tiny fragments of dream begin forming before you cross the threshold. Scientists call this stage hypnagogia, but that word feels heavier than the experience itself. Hypnagogia is more like a watercolor. Colors blending without borders, shapes appearing without names. Here, the mind loosens its grip on structure, preparing you for the deeper voyage ahead. In this early stage, the brain is performing something remarkable. It begins to turn inward, shifting away from the world outside. Sounds become softer, thoughts become slower, and the body begins to fall into its nightly rhythm. And while this shift feels peaceful, beneath the surface, the brain is buzzing with activity. Many people think sleep is a pause, a retreat, a moment when nothing happens. But that is far from the truth. Sleep is one of the most dynamic states we enter. Entire networks of the brain ignite and quiet in waves. Memories move, emotions settle, creativity blossoms. All of it hidden beneath your closed eyes. This hidden activity gives rise to dreams, and among the quiet processes that shape them, one of the most unusual is the way the brain begins to erase the sharp boundaries of time. In dreams, minutes can stretch into hours. Hours can collapse into moments. Time loosens, folds, and bends. This is not a trick of imagination, but a shift in how the brain sequences information. Without the constant reference points of waking life, clocks, sunlight, routine, the mind constructs time out of experience, not measurement. That is why a dream that feels long may last only seconds, and a dream that seems to end abruptly may have taken place over what feels like days. The brain is free to create its own sense of duration. As the night deepens, the mind enters rapid eye movement sleep, REM, the stage most associated with vivid dreaming. Here, something extraordinary happens. The brain becomes almost as active as it is when awake, yet the body lies still, protected by a natural paralysis that prevents us from physically acting out the stories inside our heads. This delicate balance between mental intensity and physical stillness is one of the silent wonders of sleep. Without it, dreams could spill into motion. With it, the mind is free to explore endless worlds while the body remains safe, unmoving, resting. And within this REM state, the brain begins to blend memories in ways that the waking mind never would. Scientific studies have shown that dreams often combine fragments from different days, different years, even different emotions into a single narrative. This blending is not random. It is thought to be part of how the brain reorganizes memory, making connections, resolving emotional tension, and strengthening what matters most. While the dream may feel strange, surreal, or disjointed, the process underneath is deeply purposeful. Your mind is tending to itself, like a gardener rearranging the soil, trimming the branches, watering the roots. Yet dreams are not only shaped by memory, they're also shaped by emotion. And one of the unusual facts about dreams is that the brain's emotional centers, especially the amygdala, can become even more active during REM sleep than when awake. This intensity may explain why dreams often carry a strong emotional tone: wonder, fear, joy, sadness, curiosity. Even the most peaceful dream carries a subtle glow of feeling. And this emotional glow is one of the brain's ways of processing what you could not fully resolve during the day. In the quiet of night, emotions are given space to move. But dreams are not simply emotional, they are sensory too. Even though your eyes are closed, the visual parts of your brain light up with activity. Images grow from within, sometimes familiar faces, sometimes impossible landscapes. You might see colors that feel deeper than real life, or scenes that stretch beyond logic. One unusual thing researchers discovered is that people who have been blind since birth do not see images in dreams, yet their dreams are just as rich. Their auditory, tactile, and emotional senses intensify. They hear textures, feel sounds, sense movement, experience entire worlds built from touch and memory. It is the mind's ability to create reality from whatever tools it has. And even more surprising, people who lose vision later in life often continue to dream in images for years afterward. The brain remembers how to see. It keeps the visual circuits alive, like echoes of light stored in its pathways. As we drift deeper into the night, dreams begin to shift. The brain cycles through stages, each with its own signature patterns. Every 90 minutes or so, you return to REM, the bright, vivid part of dreaming, and then descend again into deeper sleep, where dreams become quieter, more abstract, more elusive. Over the course of a single night, you experience multiple dream cycles, each shaping memory, emotion, and consciousness in its own way. And this cycling is not random. It is a choreography refined through millions of years of evolution. The brain has learned to alternate between different forms of rest and restoration. What makes this choreography even more fascinating is that the body participates in it in its own way. During REM sleep, your temperature regulation becomes unstable, which is why you might feel suddenly warm or cool. Your breathing becomes irregular, responding not to physical needs, but to the dream narrative itself. Your heart may beat faster, as if mirroring the emotions of the dream you're having. These internal rhythms, usually controlled by external world demands, now move to the pulse of imagination. As the dream weaving continues, the brain explores possibilities that waking life cannot. One striking discovery in modern research is that the brain uses dreams to simulate threats, not as nightmares to frighten you, but as a way to practice problem solving, emotional resilience, and quick thinking. This idea is known as the threat simulation hypothesis. It suggests that dreams allow us to rehearse difficult scenarios safely. And although this may sound dramatic, the effect is subtle. You may dream of losing something important, or searching for someone, or navigating a confusing place. These are not random. They are gentle rehearsals, emotional exercises that help the mind strengthen itself. Another unusual fact is that dreams help regulate creativity. Many artists, scientists, mathematicians, and writers throughout history have discovered solutions, inspirations, and innovations in their sleep. The structure of dreams allows the brain to bypass logical restrictions and connect ideas that do not normally meet. This is why a dream can feel both strange and insightful. The mind is free to wander without judgment, without the strict filters that waking consciousness imposes. Even if the dream seems nonsensical, it may combine concepts that the brain will later use in more grounded ways. There is also a certain kind of dream known as a lucid dream, a moment when the dreamer becomes aware of dreaming. What makes lucid dreams unique is not simply that awareness, but the state of consciousness it represents. In lucid dreaming, the brain holds both the logic of wakefulness and the fluidity of dreaming. This creates a rare hybrid state where imagination and awareness coexist. Some people can intentionally shape their environment, while others simply observe with a sense of wonder. Scientists have even communicated with lucid dreamers using eye movements, creating tiny bridges between the sleeping mind and the waking world. But most dreams are not lucid. They flow on their own, shaped by deeper processes. And one of the most subtle influences is the environment. A sound in the room might weave its way into the dream. A gentle shift in temperature might transform the setting. Even the position of your body can shape the direction of the dream storyline. The sleeping mind is not cut off from reality. It transforms reality into story. And through all of this, dreams serve a purpose that reaches far beyond imagination. They help the brain maintain its sense of self. During the day, you are constantly interpreting, deciding, reacting, adjusting. At night, dreams give the brain space to integrate all these experiences. They help rebuild the narrative of who you are, smoothing out the day's contradictions, weaving together memory, identity, emotion, and expectation. Without dreams, the sense of self becomes fragmented, more fragile. Studies show that prolonged dream deprivation affects mood, memory, and stability. Dreams help us maintain coherence. And yet, despite their importance, most dreams vanish the moment we wake. This is because the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for storing long-term memories, behaves differently during REM sleep. It is active enough to participate in the dream, but not active enough to store the dream as a permanent memory. That is why dreams fade quickly. The brain experiences them fully, but does not keep them. Only the most intense or emotional dreams survive the transition into wakefulness. The fleeting nature of dreams has fascinated scientists and philosophers alike. Some see it as a limitation. Others believe it is part of the beauty of dreaming, a reminder that some experiences are meant to be temporary, like clouds shifting in a quiet sky. As we continue, imagine the mind as an ocean. During the day, the surface ripples with activity, constant motion, constant response. But at night, the waves grow slow, the surface smooths. Beneath that stillness, deeper currents begin to move, rich with memory and meaning. This ocean is where dreams form. They rise like bubbles from the deep, drift upward, expand, then burst into imagery at the surface of consciousness. Each bubble carries a part of you, a memory, a hope, a fear, a curiosity. Together, they create the stories that play out in sleep. Tonight, we will keep following these currents. Tonight, we let the dream world open slowly, one layer at a time. As the night deepens and your body settles further into comfort, the dream ocean grows more complex. Currents twist and fold, carrying with them fragments of thought that were too subtle to notice during waking hours. One of the most fascinating phenomena in this nocturnal sea is the way dreams can combine the familiar with the impossible. Faces you know might appear beside landscapes you have never seen. Voices from your childhood may converse with the echoes of strangers. Your mind weaves continuity and surprise, creating an endless tapestry that is both intimate and alien. The brain is not merely recalling, it is inventing, sculpting, experimenting. And yet, these inventions are never random. Every image, every sensation carries purpose, an underlying logic that your waking mind often fails to recognize. In these hours, the sense of self can shift in remarkable ways. Some dreams allow the boundaries between you and the environment to blur completely. You might feel as though you are the wind passing over a field, the shadow of a bird, or the glow of a distant moon. This fluidity is not a defect in perception, but an expression of the brain's ability to dissolve the rigid walls of identity temporarily. Neurologists have found that the parietal lobe, the region that helps orient the body in space, becomes less active in REM sleep. Without the usual anchor of bodily awareness, consciousness can expand, merge, and explore perspectives that are impossible in waking life. This is why dreams can feel vast, immersive, and at times more real than reality itself. Memory, too, plays a unique role here. Dreams often draw on elements of experience that you might barely remember. A fragment of a conversation, a fleeting glance at a building, a color seen for a second. These small pieces can become central to a dream's narrative. Researchers have observed that the brain selectively accesses these fragments, recombining them in new configurations. It is as if the mind is continuously testing connections, trying to discover patterns, meanings, and solutions hidden beneath the surface of ordinary thought. This process helps strengthen memory, deepen understanding, and even enhance problem-solving ability. Some of the most profound insights, those fleeting aha moments, emerge not in the quiet focus of the day, but in the fluid imagination of sleep. And yet, dreams are not purely cognitive. They are emotional landscapes as well. One of the remarkable things about dreaming is how it can amplify feeling without increasing danger. The brain activates the limbic system, responsible for emotion, while simultaneously dampening the prefrontal cortex, which normally governs judgment and inhibition. The result is a world of heightened emotional resonance, a space where fear, joy, longing, or curiosity can be fully experienced, yet without the real-world consequences. This is why dreams can be so cathartic. They allow us to explore complex feelings safely, integrating them into our understanding and helping us awaken with a subtle sense of resolution or awareness. Sensory perception in dreams also offers extraordinary variety. The brain can generate vivid sights, sounds, smells, and textures, sometimes even more intense than reality. You may notice the smell of rain on dry earth, the whisper of silk against skin, the deep resonance of a bell in a cathedral. Interestingly, some senses dominate differently in each individual. People who are musically trained may experience highly intricate auditory landscapes, whereas visual artists may encounter elaborate visual textures. The sleeping brain adapts, crafting experiences that mirror the strengths and sensitivities of the dreamer. In this way, dreams are uniquely personal, a reflection not only of experience, but of talent, memory, and subconscious preference. One of the strangest abilities of the dreaming mind is its approach to logic. Events that would be impossible or nonsensical in waking life are accepted naturally during dreams. You might fly, walk through walls, or converse with creatures that defy anatomy. This suspension of disbelief is linked to the way the prefrontal cortex, responsible for reasoning and planning, becomes less engaged. Logic loosens, but narrative coherence can remain surprisingly strong. Dreams thus inhabit a realm of flexible rules, where the imagination is free, yet still connected to threads of meaning and emotion. It is a paradoxical state, both unbound and structured. Nightmares, too, are part of this landscape, serving as a mirror to unresolved fears and anxieties. When you dream of danger or discomfort, the brain is often rehearsing responses, integrating experiences, and working through unresolved tension. Studies suggest that experiencing fear in dreams may help reduce the intensity of similar emotions in waking life. It is as though the mind is running simulations, offering rehearsal and adaptation in a consequence-free environment. And although the dream may feel intense, even terrifying, its ultimate purpose is protective, educational, and restorative. Sleep paralysis presents another mysterious phenomenon. In certain REM states, the mind awakens while the body remains temporarily paralyzed. Many have reported seeing shadows, sensing presence, or feeling as though they are being held down. These experiences can feel alarming, yet they are a testament to the delicate balance between consciousness and paralysis. The brain remains highly active, interpreting sensations with emotional intensity, yet the body is firmly immobilized. Sleep paralysis illustrates the boundaries and intersections of dreaming and waking reality, a rare glimpse into the fragile coordination that protects us during REM sleep. Sleep paralysis presents another mysterious phenomenon. In certain REM states, the mind awakens while the body remains temporarily paralyzed. Many have reported seeing shadows, sensing a presence, or feeling as though they are being held down. These experiences can feel alarming, yet they are a testament to the delicate balance between consciousness and paralysis. The brain remains highly active, interpreting sensations with emotional intensity, yet the body is firmly immobilized. Sleep paralysis illustrates the boundaries and intersections of dreaming and waking reality, a rare glimpse into the fragile coordination that protects us during REM sleep. Another unusual fact is how dreams can predict, prepare, or even influence waking decisions. Though it is not prophecy in the mystical sense, dreams often bring hidden insights to consciousness. Subtle associations, emotional resolutions, and creative solutions sometimes emerge in dreams before the mind notices them awake. Famous examples abound: scientific breakthroughs, artistic inspiration, and problem-solving instances all traced back to dreams. The brain, free from the constraints of external demands, can explore connections invisible to the waking eye. In this way, dreams are not merely entertainment, they are rehearsal, reflection, and creation. The cultural perception of dreams also adds depth to their mystery. Across civilizations, dreams have been treated as messages from the divine, glimpses into other realms, or tools of self-understanding. Ancient Egyptians recorded them on papyrus, interpreting symbols and omens. Indigenous cultures often view dreams as a continuation of waking life, a parallel reality with its own rules and lessons. Modern neuroscience layers this with evidence of neural activity, emotional processing, and memory consolidation. Across history and discipline, dreams remain a bridge between the tangible and the ineffable, a language that both escapes and illuminates human understanding. Sleepwalking, in contrast, reminds us that dreaming and action are sometimes intertwined in unexpected ways. Though the body is usually paralyzed during REM sleep, non-REM sleep can host motor activity. People can rise, move, or even perform complex behaviors while remaining in a dream-influenced state. The actions may appear purposeful, yet the dreamer remains largely unaware, navigating a world both real and imagined. These phenomena highlight the interplay between the subconscious mind and the body, a collaboration that continues silently throughout the night. Recurring dreams, too, hold their own significance. They are often reflections of persistent thoughts, unresolved conflicts, or ongoing emotional themes. Neuroscience suggests that these repetitions can signal the brain's ongoing effort to process experiences and integrate lessons. The subtle variations across each iteration indicate that the mind is experimenting with resolution, testing different outcomes until understanding or emotional balance emerges. In this way, recurring dreams are like quiet teachers, guiding attention toward what may have been overlooked during waking life. And yet, dreams are not always personal. Shared dreams, although rare, hint at the astonishing ways brains might respond to similar environmental or psychological cues. Twins, close partners, and those in prolonged proximity sometimes report overlapping dream themes, suggesting that shared experience and deep emotional bonds may influence nocturnal imagery. While these occurrences are mysterious, they reveal the profound connectivity of the human mind, even in the depths of private sleep. Another subtle fact is that external stimuli can influence dreams without fully waking you. The sound of rain tapping the window might transform into the whisper of voices in a dream. A scent may conjure a memory of a distant place. A flicker of light may appear as fire, lightning, or celestial bodies. The brain translates, integrates, and amplifies sensory input into the narrative of dreaming. It is a process that is both adaptive and poetic, allowing the world outside to drift seamlessly into the inner landscapes of the mind. Sleep, dreams, and memory remain entwined in ways that continue to fascinate scientists. During dreams, especially REM sleep, the brain replays and reconfigures events, strengthening some memories while letting others fade. This selective consolidation ensures that learning is integrated, experience is organized, and emotion is balanced. Some research suggests that dreaming specifically aids in the integration of emotional memories, allowing humans to navigate complex social and personal landscapes with greater ease. In this sense, dreaming is both practical and profound, a nightly rehearsal that shapes who we are and how we understand the world. As you continue to rest, the boundaries between time, space, and self grow softer. The brain drifts deeper into dream cycles, alternating between intensity and quiet reflection. And within these cycles, extraordinary phenomena occur. Sudden awakenings into half-dream states, the blending of past and present, and moments when the dreamer feels entirely at one with the universe. It is here that creativity, insight, and emotional clarity can emerge, often unnoticed, yet powerful in shaping the day to come. Even the body itself participates in this nightly symphony. Heart rate, breathing, and muscle tone all fluctuate subtly in response to dream content. Researchers have observed that vivid dreams often correlate with heightened physiological activity, as if the body is echoing the emotional drama unfolding in the mind. Yet the overall effect remains gentle, restorative. The body, like the mind, is guided by rhythms that have evolved over millennia, tuned to support both safety and exploration during sleep. And so, as the night unfolds, the dream ocean continues to swell and recede. Each current carries fragments of memory, emotion, sensation, and imagination. Each wave shapes the narrative in ways subtle and profound. And you, the dreamer, are both observer and participant, moving gently through a landscape that exists nowhere but within the folds of your mind. Tonight, as always, dreams are both strange and familiar, fleeting yet enduring. They carry the essence of who you are, while simultaneously expanding the boundaries of perception, emotion, and thought. They are a silent guide, a subtle teacher, and a canvas for the imagination. They remind us that even in stillness, the mind is alive, exploring, creating, and evolving. And now, as the first whispers of the deeper night approach, we will continue to follow these currents, gently uncovering the layers of dreaming. Each discovery flows naturally into the next, like a river moving through quiet valleys, carrying reflections of self, echoes of memory, and the seeds of imagination. Together, we drift further into this world, where 101 unusual truths about dreams await, waiting to reveal themselves slowly, softly, in the meditative embrace of sleep. As the night deepens, the dream world begins to settle into patterns, subtle and intricate, like the quiet alignment of stars before dawn. In this space, the ordinary boundaries of reality loosen further, and the mind wanders freely, guided by impulses, memories, and hidden threads of imagination. One unusual fact about dreams is how often they merge experiences separated by years. A conversation from childhood may mingle effortlessly with a moment from yesterday. People we have never met can become companions, blending seamlessly with those we know intimately. The brain stitches these fragments into narratives, often without clear cause or explanation, creating a world that is at once both strange and familiar. Our emotional landscape continues to shape the scenery of dreams. Joy can ripple through a landscape like sunlight, illuminating details and painting textures across the mind. Fear, in contrast, bends the environment into shadows and distortions, intensifying every movement, every sound, every shift of air. Yet, even within fear, the dreamer is protected. The body remains immobile, the mind explores, and the experience becomes rehearsal, a rehearsal for challenges, for understanding, for emotional integration. The interplay between vulnerability and safety is one of the most remarkable features of dreaming. It allows the mind to confront the unknown, to test reactions, and to learn without consequence. And there is a subtle rhythm to these nocturnal journeys. dreams do not unfold like a story told aloud. They flow like wind through a forest, touching one leaf, then another, skipping branches, circling, and returning. The brain is not narrating in linear sequence, but exploring associations. One image naturally evokes another. A color becomes a feeling. A sound becomes a memory. In this way, dreams are deeply poetic, not through words, but through the translation of perception into experience. They are language without grammar, logic without restriction. One particularly fascinating phenomenon is the way dreams can amplify sensory perception. Though the eyes are closed, vision becomes vivid. Colors may be brighter than anything seen during waking life, shapes more fluid, patterns more intricate. Sounds may echo with clarity, resonance, and texture. Even taste and smell can emerge in moments of remarkable intensity, creating an internal world that rivals or even surpasses the waking one. For some, dreams are a symphony of the senses, a canvas painted by the mind alone. And the brain does not merely replicate experience, it exaggerates, embellishes, and invents, creating a richness that seems impossible, yet entirely real within the sleeping consciousness. Another unusual fact is how dreams often reflect physical states in subtle ways. A full bladder might manifest as a journey toward water. A tight space might appear as a corridor or a cage. The mind translates bodily sensations into metaphorical landscapes. Pain, discomfort, or tension may be woven into the narrative, transformed into obstacles, sensations, or challenges that the dreamer navigates. It is as if the body and mind are dancing together, speaking in a language of symbols and experience that is deeply intuitive. Even the most ordinary environments of waking life take on extraordinary qualities in dreams. A familiar street may twist into impossible geometry. A house may grow, shrink, or shift entirely. The laws of physics are suspended, yet the brain maintains a sense of coherence. Researchers have observed that dream scenarios often contain elements of surprise, impossibility, and hybridization, yet the mind rarely questions them while dreaming. Here, the dreamer inhabits a world where reality is flexible, perception is malleable, and imagination is unrestricted. Time itself behaves unusually. One of the more curious facts is that dreams can compress or expand time dramatically. Moments may stretch into what feels like hours. Entire nights may be experienced in minutes. The sense of causality can loosen, and events may appear out of sequence. Yet somehow, the brain finds a narrative rhythm. This elasticity of time allows dreams to explore possibilities that waking life cannot, to simulate experiences, and to rehearse responses, all while remaining contained within the brief span of a night's sleep. Some dreams are remarkably prescient, though not in a mystical sense. The brain, drawing on memory, emotion, and pattern recognition, sometimes presents insights before the conscious mind notices them awake. Inventors, writers, and scientists have famously credited dreams with breakthroughs, ideas, and solutions that seem to emerge from nowhere. The unconscious mind synthesizes information, free from the constraints of logic, expectation, or societal norms. In this way, dreaming becomes a form of hidden creativity, a silent nocturnal laboratory where the mind experiments with possibility. The landscape of dreams also allows for a unique form of narrative flexibility. Characters may change roles, places may shift, and scenarios may repeat with variation. Recurring dreams often point to unresolved emotional or psychological threads, and each iteration provides the brain with opportunities to process, reconcile, and integrate experience. In this sense, repetition is not redundancy, it is rehearsal. The mind practices, adjusts, and discovers resolution in a world that feels real, yet exists solely in imagination. Lucid dreams represent a further layer of complexity. In these rare moments, the dreamer becomes aware that they are dreaming. This awareness allows a degree of control and interaction within the dreamscape. Some can manipulate their surroundings, engage with dream characters, or explore impossible scenarios consciously. Lucid dreaming highlights the brain's ability to maintain multiple levels of awareness simultaneously, a balance of wakefulness and dream immersion. Though uncommon, these experiences reveal the remarkable adaptability of human consciousness and the subtle ways in which the mind can observe and direct its own creativity. The influence of external stimuli on dreams is also profound. A sound from the environment, the rustle of leaves, a distant voice, the patter of rain, may be woven seamlessly into the dream narrative. A change in temperature or movement of the body can alter the dream's path. The sleeping brain is continuously translating, integrating, and responding to subtle cues from the real world. Dreams are thus not isolated fantasies, but dynamic processes, continuously shaped by internal and external forces, constantly balancing imagination and perception. Even the content of dreams carries symbolic resonance. Anthropologists and psychologists have observed recurring motifs across cultures and individuals: flight, falling, pursuit, water, transformation. These images may reflect universal human concerns, deep emotional currents, or archetypal patterns. The symbols are fluid, interpreted uniquely by each dreamer, yet they reveal the common threads of human experience, suggesting that dreams are both deeply personal and surprisingly collective. Sleepwalking and related behaviors illustrate another intersection between dream and reality. During certain non-REM stages, the brain allows motor activity even while the mind remains partially immersed in sleep. People can perform complex actions, navigate familiar environments, or respond to stimuli while in a state of partial consciousness. This phenomenon demonstrates the delicate coordination between cognitive, emotional, and motor systems during sleep, a silent choreography that maintains safety while permitting exploration. Nightmares serve a critical function as well. While they can feel alarming, they often reflect attempts to process unresolved tension, fear, or anxiety. Through these vivid scenarios, the brain engages with challenges, rehearses responses, and integrates emotional experiences. In this way, even fear becomes adaptive, helping the mind to regulate, anticipate, and adjust. Nightmares are not arbitrary punishments of sleep, but subtle teachers, guiding the dreamer toward understanding and resilience. And then there is the paradox of dream amnesia. Though dreams may feel intensely vivid while experienced, most are forgotten upon waking. The hippocampus, essential for memory consolidation, behaves differently during REM sleep, allowing the dream to be lived fully but rarely stored long-term. Only the most emotionally charged or unusual dreams survive into conscious recollection. This fleeting nature is not a failure, but a feature, allowing the mind to experience freely without overburdening memory, and to preserve the novelty of each night's journey. Sleep and dreams are deeply intertwined with creativity, emotion, and memory, forming a triad that underpins our sense of self. In dreams, the mind explores, experiments, and integrates, often without awareness. Emotional processing occurs, cognitive connections are strengthened, and personal identity is rehearsed and reinforced. The brain is simultaneously resting and active, quiet yet dynamically engaged, weaving patterns of thought and feeling that prepare us for the coming day. In the midst of this, dreams often blend the fantastic with the familiar, creating hybrid spaces that defy ordinary logic yet feel entirely natural. The brain navigates these environments with subtle intelligence, maintaining coherence even in the midst of strangeness. Characters, objects, and scenarios may morph unpredictably, yet they remain narratively linked, suggesting that the mind follows its own set of rules that balance novelty, coherence, emotion, and memory. Some dreams are profoundly emotional, leaving lasting impressions. These are not always the grand adventures or surreal landscapes, but moments of subtle insight, gentle revelation, or intimate connection. The brain can conjure profound meaning from the simplest stimuli: a glance, a sound, a touch. Dreams are, in this sense, miniature laboratories of human experience, where feeling, reflection, and understanding converge quietly, almost imperceptibly, within the mind's private theater. And as the night deepens further, the cycles of dreaming repeat. The brain moves between REM and non-REM stages, cycling through intensity and calm, rehearsal and reflection, imagination and integration. With each cycle, the dream landscape shifts, offering new patterns, new insights, new sensations. It is a dynamic process, endlessly adaptive, profoundly intelligent, and intimately attuned to both the individual and the environment. Now the mind is fully immersed in the nocturnal ocean. Currents swirl, carrying fragments of memory, flashes of imagination, echoes of emotion. Scenes appear, dissolve, and reappear in fluid succession. Time stretches and contracts. Sensation intertwines with thought. The boundaries of self, space, and possibility are softened. And within this unfolding, we approach the first glimpses of the unusual truths, the quiet marvels of dreaming, each one flowing naturally from the last, like stones in a gentle stream. As the mind drifts deeper into the velvety folds of night, the dreamscape begins to take on shapes and colors more vivid than the waking world could produce. Within this ever-shifting realm, unusual truths about dreams quietly unfold, revealing the delicate interplay between memory, emotion, and imagination. One of the first remarkable facts is that most people forget the majority of their dreams. Though we may experience several dreams each night, often only fragments linger, fleeting like mist across the morning horizon. The brain's hippocampus, engaged in consolidating long-term memory, allows the dream to be lived intensely but resists storing it in permanent memory. And yet the very act of dreaming, whether remembered or forgotten, serves profound purposes, shaping our cognition and emotional balance. Dreams are highly universal in their structures, yet strikingly personal in content. Researchers have found that, despite cultural differences, certain motifs recur across human experience: falling, flying, being chased, or finding oneself unprepared. These motifs may serve adaptive functions, rehearsing survival strategies or social scenarios, but each dream remains a unique reflection of the individual's inner landscape. A fall may evoke fear, a flight may evoke liberation, a chase may echo anxiety, yet each is colored by the particular memories, emotions, and associations of the dreamer. It is as if the mind uses a common language, translating personal experience into symbolic rehearsal. Another unusual feature is the brain's approach to problem solving during sleep. Studies show that dreams often allow solutions to emerge that elude the waking mind. In a state where logic relaxes and associations flow freely, the unconscious mind can combine ideas in unexpected ways. People have famously solved mathematical puzzles, scientific problems, and artistic dilemmas within dreams, sometimes waking with the answer fully formed. It is as though the sleeping mind explores a landscape of possibilities unfettered by the strict constraints of reason, yet guided by subtle internal coherence. The vividness of dreams can vary with age, individual temperament, and even sleep patterns. Children often experience intensely emotional and fantastical dreams, sometimes featuring familiar and unfamiliar figures blended seamlessly. Adults may report more complex narratives, often infused with subtle emotional nuance. Interestingly, people who suffer from sleep deprivation tend to have less vivid dreams initially, but when sleep resumes, the intensity of REM dreams increases dramatically, a phenomenon known as REM rebound. The mind compensates, weaving dense, prolonged dream sequences that seem almost hyper-real, as if making up for lost nocturnal exploration. Dreams also play a critical role in emotional regulation. During REM sleep, the amygdala, a center for emotion processing, becomes highly active, while the prefrontal cortex, responsible for judgment and self-control, reduces its activity. This allows the brain to experience emotions fully without the constraints of reason or inhibition. As a result, dreams can serve as a kind of nightly rehearsal for emotional resilience, helping integrate experiences of stress, fear, joy, and attachment into a coherent internal narrative. The intensity of these experiences may feel startling, yet they operate silently to maintain balance and prepare the mind for waking life. One fascinating observation is that dreams can simulate experiences that have never occurred in reality. The mind invents scenarios, landscapes, and interactions with astonishing detail. Entire cities, impossible architectures, and fantastical landscapes emerge spontaneously, yet feel entirely real within the dream. The brain constructs these environments from a combination of memory fragments, imagination, and subtle sensory cues. Even experiences we cannot have physically, flying unaided, walking through walls, or conversing with animals, become immersive, coherent, and emotionally resonant. Dreams, in this sense, expand the boundaries of possible experience, offering a rehearsal space for creativity, problem-solving, and self-exploration. Sleepwalking, or somnambulism, provides a window into the intersection of dreaming and physical action. While most REM sleep paralyzes the body, non-REM stages allow partial motor activity. Individuals can rise, walk, or even perform routine behaviors while remaining partially unconscious. Sleepwalking demonstrates the extraordinary coordination of brain and body during sleep, where motor functions can be activated independently of full consciousness. This phenomenon reveals how the brain layers consciousness, separating dreaming, awareness, and movement in ways that are usually seamless but occasionally observable. The emotional intensity of dreams is closely linked to memory consolidation. Strong emotional experiences, whether positive or negative, are more likely to be reflected in dreams. Nightmares often replay situations associated with stress or anxiety, providing a safe rehearsal for coping strategies. Positive emotions also emerge vividly, enhancing motivation, satisfaction, and social bonding. In both cases, dreams act as emotional mirrors, reflecting, refining, and integrating experiences that shape personal growth and psychological resilience. Lucid dreaming represents a rare but fascinating exception to the usual flow of unconscious experience. In these states, dreamers become aware that they are dreaming and can exert varying degrees of control over the narrative or environment. This heightened awareness demonstrates the brain's ability to maintain dual consciousness, part observing, part participating. Lucid dreams provide insight into the flexibility of the human mind, revealing that consciousness itself can exist on a continuum, blending imagination with awareness. Practitioners of lucid dreaming report using these states to confront fears, practice skills, or simply explore the surreal landscapes of the mind with curiosity and wonder. Another striking fact is how sensory input can be woven into dreams seamlessly. The sound of rain on a window may become a distant waterfall in a dream. A faint touch, the movement of a pillow, or even temperature changes may be translated into narrative elements. The brain continuously interprets, translates, and integrates external cues, even as the sleeper remains largely unaware. Dreams are therefore dynamic, responsive, and adaptive, interacting subtly with the environment to enhance continuity and coherence within the dream world. Sleep paralysis provides a counterpoint to the fluidity of dreams, highlighting the fragile boundary between wakefulness and dreaming. In this phenomenon, the mind awakens while the body remains immobilized, producing sensations of pressure, movement, or even the perception of a presence in the room. Though often frightening, sleep paralysis underscores the precision with which the brain coordinates consciousness, movement, and perception. It is a fleeting glimpse into the hidden mechanics of sleep, reminding us of the intricate balance between imagination and reality. Recurring dreams, too, reveal the mind's subtle methods of processing unresolved experiences. These repetitive narratives often revisit unresolved conflicts, anxieties, or emotional themes. Each iteration allows the brain to experiment with resolution, test responses, and integrate understanding. Variations in repeated dreams demonstrate how the mind explores possibilities, seeking balance and coherence. In this sense, the recurrence is not redundancy, but rehearsal, a quiet, nocturnal method of self-correction. Some dreams are strikingly universal, suggesting shared patterns in the human psyche. Themes of falling, being chased, or encountering water emerge across cultures and eras. While each dream remains deeply personal, these archetypal elements reflect underlying concerns and adaptive functions. Falling may simulate risk, pursuit may rehearse response to threat, and water may symbolize emotion or transformation. Dreams operate simultaneously on individual and collective levels, bridging the personal with the collective. Dreams also reflect physical states in subtle ways. A cramped position may manifest as tight corridors or confined spaces. Hunger, thirst, or discomfort may become metaphorical elements of the narrative. The body communicates quietly with the mind, and the mind translates sensation into story. This constant dialogue between body and brain demonstrates the holistic nature of dreaming, where perception, emotion, and physical state interlace seamlessly to form a coherent nocturnal experience. Even mundane waking experiences can transform into profound dreamscapes. A familiar room may twist into impossible geometry. A street may extend endlessly, curving into improbable dimensions. The brain blends memory and imagination, generating experiences that surpass ordinary reality. This capacity allows the mind to rehearse, explore, and innovate, turning even the simplest material of daily life into extraordinary nocturnal journeys. The elasticity of time within dreams is one of their most unusual qualities. Moments may stretch or compress, creating experiences that feel both extensive and fleeting. Events may unfold out of sequence, yet coherence emerges from emotional and narrative threads. This flexible perception of time allows for exploration, rehearsal, and integration of experiences beyond the linear constraints of waking life. The mind plays with duration as freely as it plays with imagery, crafting experiences that feel complete yet ephemeral. As the night flows onward, the dream world continues to expand, becoming increasingly vivid and intricate. Within this expanding landscape, another unusual truth reveals itself. Dreams often blend reality and imagination seamlessly, producing experiences that feel coherent even while defying logic. You might find yourself walking along a familiar path, yet the landscape subtly shifts with every step, or conversing with someone who is part memory, part invention. This blending allows the mind to explore complex scenarios safely, combining elements of experience, emotion, and creativity to rehearse possible outcomes and solutions. One of the subtle marvels of dreaming is the way the mind processes emotional tension. Stress, anxiety, joy, and longing are all transformed into narrative and imagery, often in symbolic forms. The brain's limbic system, responsible for processing emotion, is particularly active during REM sleep, amplifying feelings while the prefrontal cortex, the region governing judgment, quiets. This allows emotions to be experienced fully, without the restraints of waking rationality. A dream of being chased or pursued is often less about physical danger and more about rehearsing strategies, confronting fear, or integrating unresolved feelings. Through this nocturnal rehearsal, the mind practices emotional resilience and prepares the dreamer for waking challenges. Another unusual fact is how sensory perception can be heightened in dreams. Visuals often appear more vivid than in waking life. Colors, patterns, and movements may be exaggerated. Sounds can be clearer, echoing, and emotionally resonant. Some people report experiencing taste or smell within dreams, though these senses are less common. Researchers speculate that the brain amplifies sensory detail in dreams to enhance emotional learning, memory consolidation, and creative problem-solving. In this way, dreaming becomes a laboratory of sensation and imagination, offering experiences that feel intensely real, yet exist solely within the mind. The brain also exhibits remarkable flexibility in creating impossible experiences. Dreams often suspend physical laws. You may fly effortlessly, walk through walls, or converse with animals as if they were human. Time can stretch or compress. Events may occur out of sequence, yet maintain emotional and narrative coherence. This flexibility allows the brain to explore scenarios beyond ordinary constraints. The brain also exhibits remarkable flexibility in creating impossible experiences. Dreams often suspend physical laws. You may fly effortlessly, walk through walls, or converse with animals as if they were human. Time can stretch or compress. Events may occur out of sequence, yet maintain emotional and narrative coherence. This flexibility allows the brain to explore scenarios beyond ordinary constraints, fostering creativity, problem-solving, and adaptive thinking. Even when dreams are illogical, they serve the mind's deeper purposes, integrating experience, emotion, and cognition. Sleep paralysis offers another fascinating window into the mechanics of dreams. In these moments, the mind awakens while the body remains temporarily immobilized. Many report sensing a presence, feeling pressure on the chest, or seeing shadowy figures. Though unsettling, sleep paralysis reflects the precise coordination between motor inhibition and consciousness during REM sleep. The brain remains highly active, interpreting sensations with emotional intensity, while the body is still. It is a rare glimpse into the boundaries between waking and dreaming, illustrating how closely intertwined perception, emotion, and bodily control truly are. Recurring dreams highlight the brain's methodical approach to unresolved experiences. These dreams often repeat themes, conflicts, or emotions, allowing the mind to rehearse responses, explore variations, and work toward resolution. Each repetition may differ subtly, reflecting adjustments in the subconscious understanding of events or relationships. In this sense, recurring dreams act as teachers, guiding attention toward issues that may have been overlooked or suppressed during waking life. Their persistence is not random, but an adaptive strategy for emotional and cognitive integration. Dreams also reveal the influence of external stimuli. A faint sound, like a dripping faucet or distant music, may weave itself seamlessly into the narrative. A change in temperature, a touch, or even movement can alter dream content. The sleeping brain continuously integrates these cues, translating them into story, emotion, and imagery. Dreams, therefore, are not isolated fantasies, but dynamic processes, interacting with both internal and external conditions. They respond, adapt, and incorporate elements from the environment, creating experiences that are both personal and contextually sensitive. One particularly remarkable phenomenon is the influence of dreams on creativity. During REM sleep, the brain forms connections between ideas that may seem unrelated during waking life. Inventors, artists, and scientists have long credited dreams with breakthroughs, solutions, or new perspectives. The unconscious mind explores possibilities without the limitations imposed by rational thought or social expectation, often revealing solutions that awake reasoning cannot reach. In this way, dreams function as a nocturnal creative laboratory, allowing the mind to explore vast conceptual landscapes freely. The timing of dreams is itself significant. Most vivid dreams occur during REM sleep, a stage characterized by heightened brain activity and rapid eye movements. Each REM cycle grows longer as the night progresses, meaning that the final hours of sleep often host the most elaborate, emotionally intense, and memorable dreams. Early cycles may be shorter and less vivid, yet they serve equally vital functions, preparing the brain, regulating emotion, and consolidating memory. Sleep is a carefully orchestrated process, with each stage contributing uniquely to the architecture of consciousness and well-being. Dreams frequently involve problem-solving and rehearsal. The mind often simulates scenarios, exploring potential decisions, relationships, and challenges. Dreams allow experimentation without consequence, providing a space for trial, error, and insight. Even when the narrative feels fantastical or surreal, underlying structures often mirror cognitive processes, highlighting strategies, emotional responses, or social patterns. The brain rehearses and integrates, creating a bridge between nocturnal experience and daytime understanding. Another unusual fact is the role of age and developmental stage in shaping dreams. Children's dreams are often fantastical, emotional, and vivid, reflecting rapid cognitive and emotional growth. Adults may experience more complex narratives, integrating nuanced social relationships, long-term concerns, and subtle emotional tones. Elderly individuals may have fewer dreams or recall them less often, though emotional intensity and symbolic complexity can remain significant. Dreams adapt, reflecting the evolving cognitive, emotional, and experiential landscape of the dreamer. Sleepwalking and related behaviors offer insight into the coordination of body and mind during sleep. In non-REM stages, motor systems can activate even while consciousness remains partially offline. Individuals may navigate spaces, perform routine tasks, or respond to environmental stimuli without full awareness. These behaviors reveal the layered nature of consciousness, where dreaming, awareness, and movement coexist in complex, often hidden coordination. Sleepwalking demonstrates that the brain manages safety, action, and perception simultaneously, even when full consciousness is suspended. Emotional intensity within dreams is often linked to memory processing. Experiences with strong emotional components are more likely to be replayed, transformed, and integrated. Nightmares, while unsettling, serve to process fear and anxiety, rehearsing coping strategies and reducing emotional volatility. Positive dreams enhance motivation, satisfaction, and social connection. In all cases, dreams function as an internal regulator, shaping the mind's emotional equilibrium and reinforcing cognitive patterns essential for daily life. Lucid dreaming, though rare, highlights the remarkable adaptability of human consciousness. In these states, dreamers achieve awareness of their dreaming, gaining partial or full control over the narrative. This dual awareness of observing and participating demonstrates that consciousness is not a fixed state, but a continuum, capable of blending imagination, perception, and deliberate thought. Lucid dreaming can serve as a tool for self-exploration, fear management, and creative expression, revealing the latent potential of the mind when freed from conventional constraints. Dreams are sensitive to physical sensations. Subtle stimuli, temperature, touch, sound, or movement can alter narrative, integrate seamlessly, or evoke metaphorical representations. A gentle breeze may become the whisper of a distant voice. A light touch may translate to a feeling of being held. The brain, adept at pattern recognition and symbolic representation, integrates these signals fluidly, maintaining narrative coherence while incorporating real-world cues. Nightmares often reflect unresolved emotional tension, but they also function adaptively. By confronting fear and stress in a consequence-free environment, the mind rehearses strategies for coping and emotional regulation. The intensity of such dreams may vary, but their ultimate purpose is integrative, helping to process and balance experiences. Even terrifying dreams carry the subtle imprint of guidance, preparing the mind for waking challenges. Finally, the fleeting nature of most dreams underscores their delicate ephemeral beauty. Though many are forgotten upon waking, their effects linger subtly. Creativity, emotional integration, problem-solving, and self-understanding are enhanced, even if the conscious mind retains only fragments. Dreams are, in this sense, invisible architects of experience, shaping thoughts, feelings, and imagination beneath the surface of awareness. They remind us that even in stillness, the mind is alive, exploring, learning, and expanding the boundaries of perception. And as the night continues, the cycles of dreaming unfold once more. REM stages lengthen, emotions intensify, and imagery grows richer. The mind journeys across landscapes both familiar and alien, guided by patterns, emotions, and the quiet intelligence of the unconscious. Each dream flows naturally into the next, forming a tapestry of experience, insight, and sensation. It is here in this fluid nocturnal ocean that the first third of our 101 Unusual Truths About Dreams begins to reveal itself, shimmering gently beneath the surface of consciousness. As the night deepens and consciousness drifts ever further from the waking world, the dreamscape stretches into realms both strange and familiar. Within this flowing tapestry, the brain continues its nightly orchestration, creating narratives, images, and sensations that reveal the remarkable flexibility and purpose of dreaming. One unusual truth is that dreams often allow the mind to practice social interactions. In these nocturnal scenarios, we converse with strangers, loved ones, or even imagined companions, rehearsing empathy, negotiation, and understanding. Dialogue in dreams can be surreal or perfectly coherent, yet it reflects the brain's ongoing effort to model and navigate relationships, often revealing hidden desires, anxieties, or insights. Another remarkable aspect of dreams is their ability to simulate fear without real-world danger. Nightmares often present scenarios of threat, pursuit, or uncertainty, yet the dreamer is protected by the boundaries of sleep. These emotional simulations allow rehearsal of coping mechanisms, enhancing preparedness and emotional resilience. The body remains safely immobile, while the mind explores challenges, conflicts, and solutions. In this way, fear within dreams is not merely a disturbance, but an adaptive tool, a nightly exercise in emotional intelligence. Dreams frequently incorporate fragments of daily experience, often blending them with memories from months or even years past. A conversation overheard, a fleeting thought, or a fragment of music may appear in surreal combinations with long-forgotten events. The brain weaves these elements into coherent yet fantastical narratives, exploring connections and reinforcing memory. This integration ensures that even trivial details may contribute to cognitive and emotional processing, highlighting the dream's role in maintaining the richness and continuity of personal experience. The intensity and vividness of dreams are closely tied to neurochemical activity in the brain. During REM sleep, neurotransmitters such as acetylcholine are highly active, stimulating visual and emotional processing, while levels of norepinephrine related to stress response decrease. This combination produces heightened sensory perception, emotional fluidity, and narrative flexibility. Dreams in this stage are often hallucinatory, intense, and richly textured, reflecting the unique chemical and structural state of the sleeping brain. The unusual interplay of neurochemistry and imagination underscores the complexity and precision of this nightly phenomenon. Some dreams incorporate elements of past trauma, yet they often transform the experience, providing a form of psychological rehearsal and integration. Through metaphor and narrative, the mind revisits distressing events, experiments with resolution, and explores emotional processing in a safe context. Even dreams that appear chaotic or frightening contribute subtly to resilience, memory consolidation, and emotional balance. In this way, dreaming serves as a bridge between experience, understanding, and adaptation, allowing the mind to navigate complex inner landscapes without waking consequences. Lucid dreaming, once again, exemplifies the mind's extraordinary adaptability. In these states, dreamers gain awareness and sometimes control over their experiences. The ability to observe and influence the dream simultaneously illustrates consciousness as a continuum rather than a binary state. Practitioners of lucid dreaming report enhanced creativity, problem-solving, and emotional insight. The phenomenon demonstrates that even within the fluidity of dreams, the mind can exercise self-reflection, strategy, and deliberate exploration, blending the unconscious and conscious in a subtle dance of cognition. Dreams often incorporate bodily sensations in symbolic or transformed ways. Physical discomfort, pressure, or temperature changes may manifest as architectural shifts, narrative elements, or metaphorical constructs. The mind translates sensory input into a coherent story, maintaining narrative continuity while reflecting real-world stimuli. This integration demonstrates the seamless communication between body and brain, revealing how dreams are not isolated fantasies, but dynamic, responsive processes. An unusual truth lies in the recurrence of dreams across cultures and time. Anthropologists and psychologists have documented similar motifs worldwide: flying, falling, being chased, or encountering water. These archetypal elements suggest shared cognitive and emotional patterns in human experience, reflecting concerns of survival, social interaction, and emotional regulation. Despite cultural differences, these patterns emerge repeatedly, highlighting the universal architecture of dreaming as both personal and collective, intimate yet connected to the broader human psyche. The mind's perception of time within dreams remains flexible and extraordinary. Minutes may stretch into hours, events may occur out of order, and sequences may loop or compress without apparent disruption. This elasticity allows the brain to rehearse, explore, and integrate experiences beyond the linear constraints of waking consciousness. Time in dreams is subjective, molded by emotion, narrative necessity, and associative logic, permitting a depth of experience unattainable in ordinary wakefulness. Dreams often serve as incubators for creativity. Artists, writers, and scientists have documented insights or solutions emerging from nocturnal narratives. The brain, free from waking constraints, explores relationships, analogies, and possibilities that may remain inaccessible while awake. Ideas, patterns, or innovations arise spontaneously, reflecting the brain's capacity to synthesize, extrapolate, and imagine. Dreams function as a creative workshop, blending intuition, memory, and invention in a continuous nocturnal symphony. Some dreams are intensely emotional yet subtle, imparting insight without drama. A fleeting image, a single word, or a nuanced sensation may convey profound meaning. These delicate experiences often leave lingering impressions, shaping thought, behavior, and emotional tone in waking life. Dreams, therefore, operate on multiple levels, combining overt narrative with subtle emotional instruction, weaving complexity and subtlety into nocturnal experience. Sleepwalking and related behaviors illustrate the extraordinary coordination of mind and body during sleep. While REM sleep inhibits motor function, non-REM stages allow partial activation of movement systems. Individuals may navigate their environment, perform familiar tasks, or respond to stimuli while remaining largely unconscious. These behaviors highlight the brain's layered architecture, where dreaming, motor control, and perception coexist, often invisible to the sleeper, yet elegantly coordinated. Sleepwalking reveals the brain's remarkable ability to manage multiple systems simultaneously. Emotional processing remains central to dreaming. Intense feelings experienced during dreams, whether fear, joy, or longing, facilitate memory consolidation, learning, and psychological adaptation. Nightmares and dreams of challenge provide rehearsal, while dreams of connection and fulfillment reinforce social and emotional capacities. The brain navigates these states with nuance, creating experiences that feel real while safeguarding the sleeper. Emotions, amplified and explored, shape both dream content and waking behavior. linking nocturnal rehearsal to daily life. Dreams are responsive to external stimuli, translating faint sounds, tactile sensations, or temperature changes into narrative elements. A distant voice may become a character, a gentle breeze, a whisper, a subtle touch, a presence. The brain integrates these cues seamlessly, maintaining narrative coherence while adapting to environmental input. Dreams are thus interactive, dynamic processes, bridging internal imagination and external reality in ways that feel organic and fluid. Recurring dreams reveal the mind's strategy for addressing unresolved experiences. Repeated scenarios provide opportunity to explore alternatives, practice responses, and integrate understanding. Subtle variations in each recurrence reflect learning, adaptation, and emotional processing. In this sense, the repetition is purposeful, a form of nocturnal rehearsal that nurtures resilience, insight, and emotional coherence. Dreams, even when repeating, are never stagnant. They evolve, adapt, and teach. Nightmares, while often disturbing, serve critical functions. By confronting fears in a consequence-free space, the mind rehearses coping, evaluates emotional responses, and integrates challenging experiences. Even intense or terrifying dreams carry subtle benefits, shaping resilience, problem-solving, and emotional equilibrium. The paradox of nightmare is that fear itself becomes a teacher, revealing internal dynamics and guiding adaptive response. The ephemeral nature of dreams underscores their delicate role. Many are forgotten upon waking, yet their impact persists subtly, influencing cognition, creativity, and emotion. Dreams shape thought and feeling beneath conscious awareness, reinforcing patterns, insights, and understanding. They are invisible architects of experience, building resilience, imagination, and integration quietly through the night. Finally, dreams often intertwine with the unconscious mind's symbolic intelligence. Objects, characters, and scenarios can represent unresolved conflicts, desires, or psychological patterns. The brain encodes meaning metaphorically, allowing the dreamer to explore emotional landscapes without direct confrontation. Symbols in dreams are fluid, adaptive, and deeply personal, yet they resonate with universal motifs, bridging individual consciousness with collective human experience. As the night stretches on, the dream world becomes a vast, intricate tapestry, each thread representing memory, emotion, sensation, and imagination, interwoven into experiences both familiar and strange. Here, the mind continues to explore, integrate, and create, revealing truths that are as subtle as they are extraordinary. One remarkable fact is that dreams often reflect unresolved desires and aspirations. Even fleeting thoughts, unspoken wishes, or distant goals can appear in nocturnal narratives, transformed into images, stories, or sensations. The mind projects these into scenarios that allow rehearsal, reflection, and experimentation without constraint, providing insight and subtle guidance toward personal growth. Another unusual truth is the way dreams simulate physical experience. The body remains largely immobile, yet the brain can produce detailed perceptions of movement, touch, and interaction. Running, climbing, swimming, or flying in dreams engages neural pathways similar to those activated during actual physical performance. This rehearsal strengthens motor skills, spatial awareness, and coordination, subtly preparing the mind and body for waking activity. Even impossible movements, such as gliding through the air or passing through walls, provide an imaginative extension of skill, practice, and spatial cognition. Dreams frequently explore identity and self-perception. Individuals may encounter versions of themselves that differ in age, gender, appearance, or circumstance. These experiences allow the mind to examine facets of personality, reconcile conflicting traits, and explore alternative perspectives. By inhabiting multiple selves in the nocturnal landscape, the dreamer gains insight into adaptability, empathy, and self-concept, deepening the understanding of who they are and who they might become. The brain also exhibits extraordinary pattern recognition during dreams. Random fragments of memory, sensation, and imagination are combined into coherent sequences, narratives, and motifs. Events that seem impossible in waking life unfold naturally, following a logic that is internal, symbolic, and emotionally resonant. This pattern-making ability reveals the brain's remarkable capacity to create meaning, structure, and continuity even when conscious control is suspended. Dreams are not chaotic. They are adaptive, integrative, and profoundly intelligent. Dreams can also facilitate creative problem-solving. The mind often identifies connections between ideas, memories, or concepts that may elude conscious reasoning. Inventors, artists, and thinkers have historically credited solutions and innovations to insights gained within dreams. These nocturnal processes allow synthesis of disparate elements, providing solutions, inspiration, or new perspectives that might otherwise remain inaccessible. The sleeping brain functions as a workshop of the imagination, unrestricted by conventional logic, but guided by subtle coherence. Emotional processing is another central function of dreaming. Strong feelings experienced during dreams, whether fear, joy, or longing, are integrated into memory and cognitive frameworks. Nightmares provide rehearsal for coping strategies, while dreams of connection reinforce social understanding. The mind, free from waking constraints, explores emotional landscapes in depth, refining responses, calibrating perception, and preparing for waking challenges. Dreams act as nightly counselors, silently guiding adaptation and resilience. Some dreams are intensely vivid yet fleeting, leaving impressions rather than complete recollections. These ephemeral experiences carry subtle influence, shaping thought patterns, creativity, and emotional tone without leaving explicit memory. The fleeting nature of dreams allows the mind to explore freely, balancing intensity with impermanence. Even forgotten dreams contribute to the architecture of consciousness, leaving traces that guide thought, reflection, and feeling throughout the day. Lucid dreams highlight the extraordinary adaptability of consciousness. In these states, dreamers recognize the dream and may exert control over events, characters, or environments. This dual awareness, observing while participating, demonstrates that consciousness is not static but fluid, capable of blending imagination, reflection, and intentionality. Lucid dreaming can provide insights into creativity, problem-solving, and emotional regulation, revealing latent capabilities of the mind when freed from waking constraints. Dreams often incorporate external stimuli seamlessly. Sounds, touches, temperature changes, or even light may be translated into narrative elements or symbolic representations. A passing car may become a distant chariot, a cool breeze, a whisper, a faint touch, a comforting presence. The brain integrates these cues fluidly, maintaining narrative coherence while adapting to reality. Dreams are thus interactive, dynamic processes, bridging internal experience with external conditions in subtle, imaginative ways. Nightmares and challenging dreams, while disconcerting, serve adaptive functions. By confronting fear and tension in consequence-free environments, the mind rehearses coping strategies, emotional processing, and resilience. Intense experiences provide rehearsal for challenges, allowing rehearsal and reflection that enhance psychological adaptation. Even terrifying dreams carry purpose, guiding awareness, insight, and emotional equilibrium through the night. Another unusual fact is that dreams frequently incorporate temporal distortion. Time may stretch, compress, or loop, creating experiences that feel extended or fleeting. Events may occur out of sequence, yet coherence emerges through emotional and narrative threads. This elasticity allows the mind to explore possibilities, rehearse scenarios, and integrate experience beyond the constraints of waking linearity. Dreams manipulate time with a subtle intelligence, balancing exploration with continuity. Physical states often influence dream content in symbolic or transformed ways. Hunger, thirst, discomfort, or posture may manifest as narrative elements, obstacles, or sensations. The mind translates bodily cues into dream imagery, maintaining coherence while reflecting internal and external conditions. This integration demonstrates the intimate dialogue between body and mind, revealing that dreams are holistic experiences shaped by perception, sensation, and imagination alike. Recurring dreams highlight the brain's persistent engagement with unresolved themes. Repetition allows rehearsal, exploration of alternatives, and refinement of emotional or cognitive strategies. Variations within repeated dreams reflect learning and adaptation. Recurrence is purposeful, guiding resolution, insight, and emotional integration. Even when familiar, dreams remain dynamic, evolving with each iteration. Dreams also engage universal motifs across human experience. Themes such as flight, pursuit, falling, or encountering water appear worldwide, suggesting shared cognitive and emotional patterns. These archetypal symbols provide insight into adaptive functions, social concerns, and emotional processing. Simultaneously, each dream remains deeply personal, shaped by memory, experience, and unique imagination. Dreams bridge the individual with the collective, the intimate with the universal. The mind's creative capacity in dreams allows impossible scenarios to feel coherent. Walking through walls, flying unaided, or conversing with animals are experienced as plausible, yet they defy physical laws. This flexibility supports rehearsal, imagination, and emotional exploration. Dreams create a private space where the boundaries of reality can be stretched, inviting experimentation, problem-solving, and synthesis of experience. Even subtle dreams can carry profound meaning. Fleeting images, nuanced sensations, or small narrative moments may reveal insight, reflection, or emotional understanding. These delicate experiences influence cognition, mood, and perception, illustrating that significance in dreams is not always tied to grand spectacle, but often to subtle depth. Finally, dreams serve as nightly architects of the mind, weaving memory, emotion, creativity, and perception into a cohesive, dynamic experience. Though often forgotten, they leave traces that guide thought, behavior, and understanding throughout waking life. Each dream is a silent teacher, a nocturnal explorer, and a sculptor of consciousness, revealing the mind's extraordinary capacity for integration, imagination, and adaptation. In this ongoing process, the 101 unique truths about dreams gradually emerge, shimmering beneath the surface of awareness, waiting for the mind to drift gently toward them. As the night deepens further and consciousness drifts to the quietest depths, the dream world stretches to its fullest expression. Within this ever-shifting realm, the remaining truths about dreaming gently unfold, each fact a thread in a vast tapestry of nocturnal insight. It is here that dreams reveal not only imagination and emotion, but also the profound mechanisms through which the mind understands itself and the world. One remarkable observation is that even entirely invented dreamscapes serve functional purposes. The brain need not anchor itself in reality to rehearse learning, process emotion, or explore problem-solving. Entirely fantastical worlds with creatures, landscapes, and events that never existed are nonetheless coherent laboratories for the mind, creating connections, insights, and understanding that echo into waking life. Dreams frequently engage the subtle architecture of memory. Experiences are not simply replayed, they are reorganized, integrated, and sometimes recombined into new patterns. This process strengthens neural pathways, refines associations, and preserves knowledge in ways that are both efficient and adaptive. A fleeting image in a dream may link seemingly unrelated memories, illuminate forgotten emotions, or suggest solutions to long-standing questions. The mind in these nocturnal acts functions as both archivist and alchemist, transforming raw experience into understanding and insight. Another unusual fact is the emotional intensity of dreams, often surpassing waking experience. Fear, joy, sorrow, and longing are amplified, yet safely contained within the boundaries of sleep. A dream may allow confrontation with situations that would be overwhelming in reality, facilitating emotional rehearsal and integration. These experiences, though ephemeral, contribute to resilience, empathy, and emotional intelligence, shaping the way the mind navigates both relationships and personal challenges. Dreams often blur the line between self and other. We may experience the perspective of another person, animal, or entity, seeing the world through different senses and cognitive frameworks. This expansion of perspective provides empathy, cognitive flexibility, and insight into alternative ways of perceiving experience. The mind in this process becomes a mirror of multiple realities, reflecting possibilities and illuminating aspects of consciousness that remain hidden in waking awareness. Some dreams demonstrate the mind's extraordinary capacity for narrative invention. Entire stories, complete with characters, dialogue, and plot, unfold seamlessly. Yet these stories are not random. They emerge from patterns of memory, emotion, and associative logic. The dream constructs coherence from fragments, weaving experience into narrative threads that can illuminate understanding, provide insight, or simply entertain the unconscious mind. Even when illogical, these narratives reflect a deep adaptive intelligence operating beneath conscious awareness. Sleepwalking and related phenomena illustrate the layered complexity of consciousness. The body, while partially immobilized in REM sleep, may move freely in non-REM stages, allowing coordinated activity without full awareness. Tasks can be performed, routines enacted, and environments navigated, even as conscious understanding remains partial. These behaviors reveal the brain's remarkable ability to manage multiple systems simultaneously, coordinating perception, action, and unconscious processing with subtle precision. Lucid dreaming, when it occurs, highlights the malleability of awareness. The dreamer recognizes the dream state and may exercise control over narrative, environment, or self-representation. This dual consciousness demonstrates that the boundaries of perception and cognition are flexible, allowing reflection, choice, and creativity within the dream. Lucid dreaming, rare though it may be, provides insight into the continuous spectrum of consciousness, revealing the interplay between imagination, volition, and awareness. Dreams are sensitive to external stimuli, integrating subtle cues into narrative seamlessly. A sound, temperature change, or touch may be woven into imagery, metaphor, or story. The brain interprets, translates, and incorporates reality into the dream experience without disruption, demonstrating its adaptive and integrative capacity. Dreams are not isolated. They exist in dialogue with both internal states and the external world, creating a continuous and dynamic experience. Nightmares, while sometimes intense, serve as adaptive rehearsal. By confronting fear in a consequence-free context, the mind strengthens coping strategies, emotional resilience, and problem-solving. Even the most vivid or disturbing nightmares contribute subtly to personal growth, illuminating hidden anxieties and guiding integration. Fear, experienced safely, becomes a teacher, a tool, and a quiet architect of understanding. Temporal elasticity remains a defining feature of dreams. Minutes may stretch into hours, events may unfold non-linearly, yet coherence emerges through associative and emotional threads. This flexibility allows rehearsal, integration, and exploration beyond the constraints of waking time. Dreams manipulate duration with subtle intelligence, blending narrative, memory, and perception into experiences that are simultaneously transient and deeply impactful. Dreams also reflect cultural, archetypal, and evolutionary patterns. Across societies and centuries, similar motifs appear: falling, flying, pursuit, and encounters with water, animals, or transformation. These universal elements suggest that dreaming operates on both individual and collective levels, encoding adaptive concerns, emotional processing, and social understanding into recurring symbolic forms. The final facts, emerging from the delicate architecture of sleep, illustrate the subtle artistry of dreaming. Sensory input, memory fragments, emotional undertones, and creative invention coalesce into experiences that are both ephemeral and enduring. Dreams may be forgotten, yet their influence persists, guiding thought, emotion, and perception in waking life. They are nightly sculptors, architects, and teachers, silently shaping cognition, imagination, and resilience. Even the act of remembering a dream transforms perception. Recollection can illuminate unconscious patterns, reveal insight, and inspire reflection. The interplay between forgetting and remembering mirrors the balance between exploration and integration, ephemeral experience and lasting effect. Dreams in this balance are both transient and powerful, shaping consciousness without fanfare or overt recognition. Finally, as the night begins to wane and sleep cycles gradually shift toward morning, the 101 unusual truths about dreams converge into a quiet realization. Dreaming is a complex, adaptive, and deeply human experience. It integrates memory, emotion, imagination, and perception into narratives that are simultaneously surreal and functional, ephemeral and enduring. Each dream, whether recalled or forgotten, contributes to understanding, creativity, emotional resilience, and self-awareness. The mind, in sleep, navigates an infinite landscape, exploring possibility, rehearsing life, and weaving coherence from fragments. And so, as your consciousness drifts gently toward waking, remember that the world of dreams remains ever present, a silent companion to the mind's deepest explorations. The unusual, wondrous, and subtle truths of dreaming, all 101 of them, exist not only in the night, but within the very architecture of thought and imagination. In this quiet interplay, the mind finds rest, renewal, and insight, preparing silently for another day of experience, learning, and living. And as the first light of morning begins to stir, the dreams recede, leaving traces, patterns, and echoes, reminders of the nightly journey through the mind's infinite landscapes.